Imagine going to the bathroom right now and then realizing something terrifying. There's no toilet paper, no tissue, no bidet, no wet wipes, nothing. So what would you do? Believe it or not, for most of human history, toilet paper simply did not exist. And yet, humans have been going to the bathroom for thousands and thousands of years. So the obvious question is, how did ancient people clean themselves after pooping? And the answer is much more interesting than you might expect. Today, toilet paper feels completely normal. You walk into a bathroom, grab some paper, clean yourself, flush it away, and forget about it. But modern toilet paper is actually a very recent invention compared with human history. Ancient civilizations had completely different solutions, and depending on where you lived, what you could afford, and what culture you belonged to, your bathroom routine could look very, very different. Let's start with one of the oldest and simplest methods, water. In many parts of the ancient world, people cleaned themselves with water. And honestly, this method is still common today. But water wasn't the only option. In ancient Rome, some public toilets were equipped with a rather unusual cleaning tool, a sponge attached to a stick. Yes, a sponge. Shared public sanitation was very different from what we're used to today, and historians believe these tools were used for cleaning after using the toilet. But there's an important detail here. We shouldn't imagine that every Roman used exactly the same method. Ancient societies were enormous and diverse. Different people had different practices depending on their location, wealth, and circumstances. And then we have another surprisingly common material, plant material. People could use things that were soft and available locally, such as leaves. In some places, other natural materials were also used. Basically, ancient humans looked around their environment and thought, what can I use to clean myself? And the answer depended heavily on what was available. China gives us another fascinating example. Archaeologists have discovered ancient bamboo or wooden toilet cleaning sticks, including examples associated with the Han period. Some had material wrapped around them and are believed to have been used for personal hygiene. And here's the crazy part. These objects show that humans weren't simply ignoring hygiene. They were actively developing tools to make bathroom life easier. The technology wasn't toilet paper, but the problem was exactly the same. How do you clean yourself? Now, you might be wondering, okay, but what about people who didn't have any of those things? Well, yes, hand and water cleaning has been practiced in many cultures, and that's one reason the idea that ancient humans simply didn't clean themselves at all is misleading. They absolutely had hygiene practices. They just didn't have our modern products. For much of history, people use a combination of water, natural materials, cloth, leaves, sticks, sponges, and other locally available resources. And some of these methods were actually surprisingly practical. So when did toilet paper finally appear? Paper itself is ancient, and evidence from China shows paper being used for personal hygiene many centuries ago. But the modern commercial toilet paper industry is much newer. Mass-produced toilet paper eventually became widely available, especially during the 19th century. And once manufacturing improved, toilet paper became cheaper, softer, more convenient, and eventually something we now consider completely normal. Think about that. For thousands of years, humans solved the exact same problem using whatever they had around them. Then modern industry came along and turned it into a roll of paper sitting beside your toilet. So, did ancient humans not wipe their butts? They did. They just didn't necessarily use toilet paper. Some used water, some used natural materials, some used cloth. Some societies developed specialized tools, and some methods were definitely less pleasant than what we have today. But the biggest lesson is this: human beings have always cared about staying clean. The toilet paper roll beside you isn't the beginning of human hygiene. It's just the latest chapter in a story that started thousands of years ago. So the next time you reach for toilet paper, remember, your ancestors were solving the same problem long before you were. And thankfully, you probably don't have to share a sponge on a stick.